people to start making some changes. Let's change the way we eat, let's change the way we live, and let's change the way we treat each other. You see, the old way wasn't working, so it's on us to do what we gotta do to survive.
Promotional considerations paid for by the following.
Initial reports at this stage, as you said, which were over 90 minutes ago. The Deputy Prime Minister Warren Truss has put out some information. He says that despite reports that the airspace over Sydney has been shut down, he says that's not the case. But what is happening is that there are helicopters flying above, as you'd imagine.
Monis was killed. 2 of his hostages died as well, including 38-year-old Katrina Dawson, who was well known to these Australian television anchors.
A mother of 3 children.
Also killed 34-year-old Tori Johnson, the cafe manager being hailed as a hero. Witnesses say he died trying to disarm the gunman.
Tori was amazing. We're all deeply saddened in this company by what has occurred.
Authorities say Monis was a self-proclaimed Islamic sheikh.
He's a phony. There is no doubt in anybody's mind that he's a phony.
Monis was well known to Australian authorities, but despite a lengthy police record, he was not on the country's terrorist watch list. He was out on bail, awaiting trial for some 40 alleged sexual assaults. Damn! He was also considered an accessory with his mistress in the murder of his wife.
Damn!
Where a gunman is holding staff and customers hostage. 5 people have managed to escape. Police say negotiators are in contact with the gunman. The motive of the gunman is unclear, but earlier a black flag with Arabic writing was placed on the cafe's window.
We've been seeing some pictures there of some of the hostages who have been released. Presumably, they may be in a position to tell the police a few clues as to who the gunman is, what his demands are, and what his state of mind is.
As you can see with that breaking news on your screen, a siege is currently taking place at a cafe in Sydney's central business district. Let's bring in our reporter Dan Murphy, who is in Sydney's Martin Place. Dan, we understand hostages are being held.
After the police moved in, one weeping woman was helped out by the officers and at least 2 other people were wheeled out on stretchers. The dramatic scene unfolded.
Oh, it was a scam artist. Oh yeah, liar, scam artist, you know, innocent. You know, my goddaughter was innocent. Her kids were innocent.
Being Katrina Dawson, a 38-year-old mother of 3, she was a lawyer here in Sydney, and she was one of the hostages killed during that siege of that Lindt chocolate cafe. There are reports that he tried to tackle the gunman and overcome him. Police say they heard gunshots just after 2 o'clock this morning, and that is when they decided to storm that cafe. But that is what we are learning, Don, about those 2 victims.
You are watching World News. Sydney hostage crisis.
This pen is my gun, and these words are my bullets.
The fact of the matter is, taking a shot would have meant the window would have shattered, glass would have splattered, that would have put the hostages at risk, the bullet could have been deflected, a whole series of issues, and they didn't know enough about the gunman.
The explosion of a flash grenade inside the Lindt cafe. The rush of heavily armed police into the building.
Action from the police, they, in my mind, concerned, and probably anyone else is seeing it. I don't think they're going to sit around and wait for another hostage, you know, to have with sort of no fear for their own safety to get people out. I'm never going to forget that. For me, one of the hardest things to see was that there was 3 women forced to hold that flag up against the glass. The thing that probably keeps going through my mind the most is the look of just anguish on those faces of those people being forced to stand in that window.
Well, this is the man local media in Sydney are reporting to be at the centre of this siege. He's 49-year-old radical Muslim cleric Sheikh Man Harun Monis. Good morning, or good night your time, I guess it is early. Tell us what we know about this man, because he is well known to the police in Sydney, isn't he?
He has a string of charges against him, including an accessory to murder, sexual assault, and also, worryingly, a case which is quite well known amongst Australians is this is the man who sent abusive letters to family members of 8 soldiers who were killed.
We know who his name is, or what his name is now. His name is Man Harun Monis. He is a radical Muslim cleric, a self-proclaimed cleric. He goes by the title of Sheikh, but as I said, self-proclaimed. And John Northcott is taking a look at the profile that's already out there, because this is a man who's infamous in Australia, John.
In Afghanistan, effectively referring to them as child killers. Again, imagine being a family member, a mother, a wife, receiving some 40 charges for sexual abuse. He bills himself as some kind of a healer, some kind of a shaman, some kind of a, referring to himself as an Ayatollah, but in claiming to be a healer, going, the flag that was held up by the hostages in the windows, effectively the most common Muslim phrase of prayer. There is only one God, who is Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. A standard flag, easily accessible within the Muslim community. He says he wants this, the ISIS flag, effectively saying the same thing in a different way, though, and a flag that, for whatever reason, he does not have access to, potentially adding that he is getting this kind of attention. Heather?
And we're starting straight off now with the breaking news story unravelling in Australia. All right, to talk more on the issue, I'm now joined live by Australian writer and journalist Robert Ellis, coming on here on the programme. And Robert, good to see you. Thank you for joining us so quickly here. The opening statement from the Australian Prime Minister saying that there are people that want to harm, quote, the great and open Australian society.
Of course, it's so peculiar and so unusual and so silly in a way.
The gunman, who reportedly calls himself the brother, has contacted 3 local news outlets making demands. One, an ISIS flag in exchange for 1 hostage.
When we saw that rush of escapees, we could see from up here at this vantage point, the gunman got extremely agitated as he realised those 5 had got out. He started screaming orders at the people inside. The hostages remained behind.
Now, we just want to tell our viewers exactly where this cafe is located. It is in the heart of the city.
Sydney's Great Hall filled with mourners, and the screen filled with happy memories of Katrina Dawson.
She was destined to change the world, just not the way it's happened.
Before the cruelest twist of fate, Katrina achieved so much. A perfect HSC score, ducks of her school, a high-flying barrister,